A little different than my normal content. My next few videos are not going to be for the weak mind, and I'm going to start this off by reading you a verse out of the King James Version. There is a generation whose teeth are like swords and whose fangs are like knives, to devour the poor off the earth and the needy amongst men. Now check out all three of these videos. You're going to want to see this.
Congress shall now vote for approval of H.R. 8791, the Homeland Terrorism Preparedness Bill. Said bill requests emergency response funding up to and including, I'm sorry, this section is classified, dollars to prepare for a national level terrorist attack and or attack from classified. Funding for first responder personnel and vehicles would be doubled if said attack leads to more than 80% of national population being affected by class.
Listen to this. So I made a video before talking about how when 5G came out, they said that it would cause mass amount of respiratory issues and flu-like symptoms and pneumonia-like symptoms in huge numbers of the public. But then they released the first towers in Wuhan, China, and it spread out from there. But they also stopped talking about 5G, and that's where COVID started, and it spread out from there. COVID does all the same things they said 5G would do, but they don't talk about 5G anymore. So I found this in 5 minutes. You can find it yourself online, anything you want. You know what I mean? Just look it up yourself. And if you don't like my videos, just scroll on. I don't need your smart-ass comments. So this shows two different maps, one for 5G locations and one for coronavirus outbreaks. Do you think there's a coincidence across the map? It's just a coincidence? Each one is just a coincidence? I mean, what's your opinion? How many coincidences do you need before it's not a coincidence anymore?
Funding shall commence in conjunction with the first attack on classified or the first large-scale outbreak of classified, dependent upon which comes first. Civilian and military units shall be trained in containment and combat of classified, including irradiated classified with possibility of classified airborne, classified flesh-eating, classified, and or all of the above in such event as classified spewing, classified escape, are released or otherwise become uncontrollable. Air Force units may also be directed to combat said classified due to their enormous size and otherworldly strength. Should event occur in urban areas, Jesus, that's classified, far surpassing our darkest nightmares. Should casualties exceed classified, body disposal actions shall be halted and associated resources shall be reallocated.
Those are just crucial. And since we're in this place right now, let me see if I can call up the Baron's videos, because those are just crucial at this time for sharing very basic but yet very important information.
What is the Kraken, sir?
Well, again, remember, I'm Lynn Wood, the lawyer. I have certain information.
Okay.
I've worked closely with Sydney.
Yeah.
So the authoritative word on all of these subject matters will be the President of the United States. But I can tell you that the Kraken, I believe, from what I've learned, Kraken was the code name given to a project where the United States recognized that they would, in fact, be attacked in this election. I think the country and its intelligence officers took the adequate steps to document what happened on November the 3rd. I think they've known since then. I think Sydney has done a magnificent job of trying to set the table for when the president has to announce it. So I believe you're going to find that the President of the United States and key members of our government have known since November 3rd that this election was a fraud. They know how they committed the fraud. And I think that the people that were involved are being now and will soon in the future be brought to justice. So that's the Kraken as I understand it. And Sidney Powell is the Kraken. I love to call her that. She laughs, but that's her name now.
How tall is she?
I think she's actually talking about a code name for what will turn out to be one of the most remarkable operations in the history of our country. I've said this before. Donald Trump said in 2016 he was going to make America great again.
Yeah.
By the time he leaves office in 2024, I think he will have in fact made America great again. I think you're going to find in the coming days that he's going to keep another campaign promise. He's going to drain the swamp. Donald Trump will go down in history as one of the greatest presidents, if not the greatest president, since George Washington that ever served. He'll be in the ranks of the people on Mount Rushmore.
Amen.
My name is Gregory Stenstrom. I'm from Delaware County. I'm a father, a family man. I was a former commanding officer and executive officer in the Navy. I'm a veteran of foreign wars. I'm the CEO of my own private company. I'm a data scientist. I'm a forensic computer scientist. I'm an expert in security and fraud. And we were told, I was told the next day by the solicitors, well, actually not the solicitor, but the attorney that we had secured, that they said every election they leave a couple of USBs in the voting machines and they're brought back, and generally the warehouse manager comes over and puts them in. So in talking to the U.S. Attorney General McSwain and other law enforcement officers, I found out that was not the case, that generally, more than two is unusual. So they denied they did it, but as of today, 47 USB V cards are missing, and they're nowhere to be found. So I was told personally that these 24 to 30 cards that were uploaded weren't there. Those cards, I demanded that they didn't update the vote live time. They only updated it about once every 2 or 3 hours. I demanded they uploaded the vote so I could see what the result was, and it was 50,000 votes. And I think as a computer scientist, an American, and a patriot, it doesn't matter who those 50,000 votes were. I'll tell you they were for Vice President Biden. But what was shocking to me as an American, as someone who has gone to sea, gone to war, that that could even happen.
In a surveillance state, and censorship practices are used to maintain its human rights violations. And what this devastating pandemic has shown us is that China's surveillance state and its censorship practices are also a profound threat to our national security, to our public health, and to our public debate, as the Chinese government hid information about the COVID-19 pandemic that began in Wuhan, China, hid it for months on end, and allowed millions across the globe to be threatened.
In January. Yes.
Some may want to shut you down. We want to pull you up. We've got...
The CDC director today said that the next few months could be among the worst public health months in American history. I wonder, does the White House, is it setting a good example for the public for the White House to be holding in-person holiday parties at a time when the CDC and other organizations are asking Americans to forego those kinds of celebrations for their own safety?
Yeah, so, if you can loot businesses, burn down buildings, engage in protest, you can also go to a Christmas party. You can celebrate the holiday of Christmas, and you can do it responsibly, which is why the East Wing has noted that they'll have smaller guest lists, masks are going to be available, social distancing is going to be encouraged, hand sanitizing stations, among other measures. But we will engage in the celebration of Christmas, and there will be a Hanukkah celebration as well.
Crazy Nancy. I'm sorry. That was the president. I have such reverence for the office. I would never use that term, but it is hard.
But you just did. Moderna vaccines sound concerning. We looked. After the second dose, at least 80% of participants experienced a systemic side effect, ranging from severe chills to fevers. So, are these vaccines safe?
Well, the FDA, not being pressured, will look hard at that. The FDA is the gold standard of regulators, and their current guidance on this, if they stick with that, is very, very appropriate. And you know, the side effects were not super severe. That is, it didn't cause permanent health problems for the things there. Moderna did have to go with a fairly high dose, and so to get the antibodies. Some of the other vaccines are able to go with lower doses to get responses that are pretty high, including the J&J and the Pfizer. And so there's a lot of characteristics of these vaccines. It's great that we have multiple of them that are going out there. And yes, I think
you know the data better than I do. But the data showed that everybody with a high dose had a side effect.
Yeah, but some of that is not dramatic, where it's just super painful. But yes, we need to make sure there's not severe side effects. The FDA, I think, will do a good job of that, despite the pressure.
How many doses of the vaccine will we need?
Well, none of the vaccines at this point appear like they'll work with a single dose. That was the hope at the very beginning. Maybe one of them, particularly in the second generation, will surprise us. We hope just 2, although in the elderly, sometimes it takes more. And so making sure we have lots of elderly people in the trial will give us that data.
You've said some more than 7 billion doses is what we'll need.
Well, if what you're trying to